Hello, everyone. This is Angela Alexander going live. Hi, this is Angela Alexander. I am going live. I think I am. Yes, that says I'm live. And I'm just trying to go live here also on my Instagram with the Work Your Words parent support. It's a lot to do this on two networks, but I hope all is well with you today. How are you all today? I hope that you are good. Give me just a moment. Copy to stream. Okay, so I'm going live also on Instagram. My connection is slow, so hopefully it is not too much static and that you can hear me. And it's also going live, I think, on my Instagram. So I'm not sure if anybody is in the room yet. So just giving a moment or two. Let people know that I am on, I am live. And this is a new thing for me to go live, but also to go live on two networks. So let's see how this goes. So, hi there, Kenny. How are you? Good that you were able to join in. I am still waiting on my Instagram to pop up, but today we're talking about parent support, and I'm so glad that you all were able to come today. Yes, this is the first of many sessions. I will be working with the Work Your Words workshop, and so if you're following me on social media, you'll see the link on my Facebook or my Instagram page. You can also go to brownaangelbc.com. That's my personal website for the Brown Angel Books and Coaching. And there's a link there for the ebook, which is called Work Your Words Workshop. And also there is a video series. And so why so many ways to do this? Well, with today, we're just going to do maybe just a couple of strategies. This is setting the intention. Nothing happens until you first set an intention, right? So we'll do setting an intention first, and then we'll go through that Work Your Words workshop, and there's a lot in there. It's chock full of a lot. And so today, we're going to talk about setting the intention. So I want you to imagine something for a moment. So I want you to imagine, if you would, that I kept walking past you. And each time I walked past you, I stepped on your foot. Just stepped on your foot. So I want you to step down with me. Imagine this is stepping. So you step on my foot. And I say, nothing. Don't even address it. And then I do it again. Hey, you want some cake? You want some pizza or something? And you're looking at me like, okay, how many times is she gonna step on my foot? I step on your foot again. Still, no acknowledgement of what I've done, right? And so we go through the day and I keep stepping and never acknowledge what I've done. Now, after a while, you're going to be looking at me like, what is going on with her? Why is she doing this, right? No accountability. Now, you might not say anything the first time I do it, but let me continue to do it. After a while, it's going to be a look like, if she step on my foot one more time, it's going to be a problem, right? Right. Exactly. Acknowledging. And so if I kept doing that to you, right, and I never said anything, and then I'm treating you just like, hey, how you doing? How you doing? And I never acknowledge that I've done this to you, what is the likelihood that you would sit and want to listen to me teach? What's the likelihood that you would want to listen to anything that I had to say? None, right? I see you, none. Absolutely. And so because I'm stepping on a boundary, I'm breaching a trust, right? There's an expectation that at minimum, you can acknowledge the fact that you stepped on my foot. You can acknowledge the fact that you've done this, right? Hold on, I'm having a problem with my Instagram. It's still just buffering, not even going through. Yeah, and so it's like the least you can do is acknowledge the fact that I'm a person with a foot that you keep stepping on, right? Well, the reason that I mention this is that oftentimes, and especially as parents, a lot of us have breaches. We've stepped over boundaries. We've stepped over the people in our household. We've said things. We've done things. And thinking, okay, well, this is my house. I can do what I want to do. I can say what I want to say. And you're like, wait a minute, but that's my foot. I'm having a little problem going live. Let me see. Stream. All right, I'm so sorry. Hold on just a second. Let me see if this works with me going live. My Instagram is giving me everything but what it's supposed to be giving me. I'm not sure what's happening. Yeah, I don't know. Sorry, Instagram. All right, so I just won't worry about it. They'll get the link. You're here. So let's have our moment together, okay? So as I was saying, if I keep stepping over your feelings, I keep not acknowledging the fact that you're a real person, the real foot, right? Real feelings, real emotions. And I just keep on doing what I'm doing. After a while, I'm going to lose credit with you. I'm going to lose not just credit, but credibility, right? But when we treat our family that way, especially as parents, a lot of times we can do that with our children. Just do it because I said so. Just, right? Yeah. And they're sucking it in. Now, just imagine you say to me, well, listen, you've been stepping on my foot. And then I get upset with you. How dare you have an attitude about my stepping on your foot? How dare you roll your eyes? Or how dare you feel a certain way? And you're telling me, how dare I, when I was the one who breached and you were the one who took it? And I'm upset with you for having an emotion that's in response to my action. That is what happens a lot of times in our relationships and in our parenting. And so what this Work Your Words and this parenting support is set up to do is that sometimes we need to kind of back up. And let's repair breaches where they are. Let's listen to understand and not listen to get our opinion out because we're right and the rest of the world is wrong, right? Attitudes are contagious, aren't they? Yeah, so have you ever noticed that, like, if you go into a restaurant, of course, and they set an ambiance, right? They set an ambiance in their candles low, right? And it's either amazing or amazing. Like, they set a certain tone, like you go in the evening and you expect the tones to be lower. You expect to be able to have conversational talk with whomever you're with, right? And they know that there is a certain tone that they want the place to have, right? And so that when you leave there feeling like you've had an experience. Well, what oftentimes we don't realize as parents is that we have the ability to set the tone, especially as wives, right? What's the saying? Happy wife, happy life, happy wife, happy life, happy wife, happy life, right? We have that superpower, if you would, to be able to set the tone. If someone comes home and their mood is off, or if your mood is off, it will really throw off the rhythm of your household, right? And so understanding that you have that power to do that, right? And so one of the things that I want us to also think about is that with parent support, with doing things that we are trying to maybe make some tweaks here and there, those tweaks happen with us first, right? With us first. And it's okay to say to the people in your house that, hey, look, you know what? I'm trying to make some tweaks. So if you notice me changing a bit, it's not because I'm trying to change you. I'm trying to adjust me so that we can be better, right? It's not that you're bad, but who couldn't be better? I know I could, right? Better with my attitude, better with when I'm focusing on something and if someone's trying to talk to me and you ever have that, right? Focusing on being better. Change at first is uncomfortable and it feels unnatural. But when we make those people in our families feel appreciated or heard, and so what we'll talk about in as the other Tuesdays go along, we'll talk about how to make people feel heard and seen and valued, and how even in our conversations, when we reflect back, it lets people feel valued, right? And so I want you to be patient with the process. So I want you to just show of hands, who has ever, you made a decision to lose weight? Yeah. Now, who has ever lost weight the first day? Like you wake up and the 20 pounds that you wanted to lose, you lost it just overnight. Nobody, right? It's a process. And just as we go to classes and it's a process, just as we might look at a goal and it's a process, just as you might want to lose some pounds and it's a process, when we're trying to adjust how we are as parents, or mindsets that have been, they've been there from day one, those things take time. And it takes time even with the people in our house to be able to know that, hey, we're doing something differently, right? Just like if someone had ever, God forbid, if anybody has ever gone through any type of abuse or neglect or things of that sort, and if someone is continuing to talk to you after breaching something in you, that trust takes time to rebuild, right? So I'm not saying that you breached a trust, but sometimes when we are not cognizant of the fact that you've hurt somebody's feelings and how you've acted or reacted, it may take them a moment to see you as a safe place. And so that is why this setting the intention is number one with the parent coaching. Parent support, let's call it support, because we could all use support, right? And so one of the things I wanted to talk about first is, and I've kind of alluded to this, is first creating a safe environment, creating a calm environment. And it starts with you first. Have you ever been on an airplane and they say, if we have turbulence, you put your mask on first. Take care of you first before you can take care of anybody else. Let you start breathing first, right? And so the first things first is, setting that environment. And, I have this written down, and I almost, kind of stutter or whatever, pause for telling you to do this first, but I'm going to even encourage, even before getting started, to gift yourself. Just remember, write this down, gift yourself 2 minutes. 2 minutes. And in that 2 minutes, I want you to gift yourself, whether that is before you get in the car. Not before you get in the car, before you start your car. Let's say you're getting ready to go through traffic, getting ready to come home. Or maybe it is right before you walk in the door. Gift yourself 2 minutes, right? And in that 2 minutes, no radio, Nothing, just you. If you pray, this is a good time to pray or breathe or whatever it is. Just take those 2 minutes, right? Lord, help me. If you pray, this is a good time to say, help me with my family. Help me with me. Help me to be calm. Help me to be patient. Help me to be what I need for my family. Help me to be what I need for me. Let me get calm so my blood pressure can go down, so that I'm not thinking about everybody at work. Because sometimes going home is that plan B. Or even coming out of your bedroom and the kids are like, Mama, Daddy, right? They're all over the place. They're flipping. You've got to do dinner. And just gift yourself, before you go through all of that, gift yourself 2 minutes. I even thought about it today, how there is principally or scripturally, there's the tithe, right? You tithe your increase, your money, right? We think about that tithe. But I've never thought about until today about your day being a tithe, right? It's a gift. You've been gifted 24 hours. Now, granted, most of us aren't up the whole 24 hours. But even if you kind of average that, right? 24 hours. And so even if you took 2 minutes, 2.4, or we just say 2 minutes, and that 2 minutes to just give to yourself, just you. Just you. Whether it is your health that you think about, whether it is your life, your purpose, or just nothing. Gift yourself 2 minutes. Promise me that. Okay? And you'll see, you'll find that your blood pressure is coming down, your thoughts might become more clear. You might snap less. Snapping is a process, to not snap is a process, so snap less. 2 minutes. Give yourself that. All right. What else do I have? Take time when you're not under pressure to talk to your family about expectations. So, who has ever been on a team? You've been on a team? You've been on a team? You've been on a team, right? Now, when you're on a team, your coach doesn't tell you in the middle of the game how to execute a plan, right? Anybody? When you have practices for that, right? And so if it's football practice, cheering practice, whatever type of practice, you have rehearsals, you have practices, and in those practices, that's when the coach tells you the plan, tells you the expectation. We're going to run this plan. We're going to do this. You do that in the practice, right? But when tempers are high or in the middle of the game, that's when the coach says, we're going to run, practice number 32. And you know that number 32 meant you go to the left, you go to the right. We remember those things because we got them in the practice, right? We learned those in the practice. And so what am I saying? So you're like the coach in the house, right? And so when things are calm, maybe at dinner, maybe in the car, those are the times when you tell your family what the expectations are, when and how to make up the bed or how to clean the bathroom, or this is what I'd like for you to do. This is what I'd like to see, right? Those times when nobody's arguing, nobody's doing backflips. And so those are the times to talk about expectations, right? Not when everybody's flipping. And then it is also a good time to ask, what do you take from this? Is this something that you can do? All right, so this is how we load the dishwasher, right? I have this at my house. This is how we load the dishwasher, or this is how we do whatever it is. And then ask them if they understand, if they can repeat it back to you, right? And so this is that time when we are all on one accord, that we understand what the expectations are, and then execute those things. And so that they get it, right? I know that you get it. And so when it's time to do it, let's say it's 7 o'clock, let's say it's whatever o'clock it is, then you can say, okay, well, it is 7 o'clock, and this is what we're going to do. Go ahead and do plan number 32, right? Just like the coach would do. Go ahead and do those things then. Because now you're at a place where you know that they know. And so if it's still not done, then you can repeat back. You remember when we talked about blank? I want you to focus on getting yourself calm. I know it's easier said than done. But what's happening a lot of times is that we're trying to get our family, our friends, or the people we're in relationship with to match our mood. And because we've raised our voice, they understand that we need it done now. And you're raising your voice or you're getting the belt, and it's increasing anxiety. The brain, when it is under anxiety and stress, cannot function well. It doesn't function well. And so we feel like because we've got our energy up, that things are going to get done, because if you don't get it done, I'm going to start swinging. Right? And that doesn't do anything but increases the cortisol. And that cortisol is going, and part of the brain is trying to process. And so it's spending more time processing what you're saying and the energy behind what you're saying than actually executing the plan. That's why you execute plans and you teach plans when we are calm, when those cortisol levels are not flying off the chart. Does that make sense? Yeah. So making home safe, making yourself safe. Because let's just think about it this way. If there is somebody in your life and every time they talk to you, they were yelling or they were fussing or they were bringing the drama, you would probably be like, oh Lord, here we go. I don't know if I feel like this today. And as the adult, I can put it on pause, or I can, not answer the phone, or I can say, you know what, I don't feel like this right now. But those little ones in your house, they can't put you on pause when you're being extra. And I can say you're being extra because, being coach, and when you're being extra, right? They don't have a way to mute you. They don't have a way to back up when you've breached something in them. When your words sliced instead of encouraged, they have to take it. Just think about that. Even if they're hungry and they're tired and you say, come on, we're going to the store. And they go to the store because you told them to go to the store, and they're doing backflips and they're crying. Can you imagine if you went to the store when you're tired, your spouse, your friend, or whomever said, come on, we're doing this, and you're exhausted because it's been a long day, and then they yell at you for being tired and not walking their pace? Can you imagine how that would make you feel? Imagine that's your kid. Imagine it's been a long day, whatever their long day consists of, and they're dealing with what they're dealing with, and you're yelling. There's CDC statistic that I'm going to get through this. I'm almost done. There's CDC statistic that I saw recently that said that children 5 to 17, so that's the age range they would be home. Some of them even as young as 3, but I'm going to keep it 5 to 17. 1 in 4 of those children is depressed. And some of them are so depressed that they want to end their life. 1 in 4. Who's to say that that fourth one doesn't live in your house? And I'm saying that slow because, I got 2 kids. I've got an 11-year-old and I have a 14-year-old. I'm just taking that in, and I'm feeling that because we've got kids taking their lives. If you look at the news, you've got kids. They were just saying today how, we got a 15-year-old yesterday that went into a school and shot people and then shot her own self. I don't know what leads to that. Some of it may be mental illness. Some of it is whatever it is. But some of this is how we are communicating with our children. And if we as parents don't find a way to get ourselves calm before we on our kids, those statistics are going to go up. And nobody wants to be the parent of the 1 in 4. It's something to think about. And that is one of the reasons why this is so close to my heart. Why it hits me the way it hits me. Why it almost brings me to tears, because these are real numbers. And it's not those people that it happens to. These are our communities. These are our children. And we got to get to the point where we're thinking about what we're saying before we put our words out. Thinking about how we're saying it before we put our words out. Because look, we were young. And many of us had people, I see you nodding, many of us had people who treated us however they wanted to treat us, because this was their house. They told you to be seen and not heard. And many of us didn't have opinions other than the ones that our parents gave us or the ones that we spoke into our pillows, and it's like they heard you still. Oh, you mouthing off at, and you whispering in the pillow like, how do they still hear me? And they taught us compliance. And then as adults, you had to find your voice. You had to find you. I want to leave you with a couple of things. So there's one thing in particular that I got from a coach not long ago, and they use the acronym Q-TIP, just like the Q-tip, Q-T-I-P, Q-T-I-P. So one of them, and I have two, one for each ear. One Q-tip, if you want to write this down, is quit taking it personal. And so when they are doing what they're doing, your kids, your spouse, your whomever, quit taking it personal. They're dealing with what they're dealing with. You find a way to regulate you. Quit taking it personal. And the other one is quiet the inner perspective, and that's your self-talk. Those are those things that we tell ourselves because we know we know it all, right? And the truth be told, we don't know it all. A lot of this is our perspective on things. And, it just reminds me of, I was looking at this post that I did. Check out the webpage. Check out my YouTube, Brown Angel Chats on YouTube. There's a whole lot of videos there that you can find, you can look at. As a whole lot there. And so yesterday I was looking at one of my videos on the toolbox, right? And so one of them was about my son, my younger son. And I did something and I didn't think anything of it, So in this particular video, what I had done, it was a summer day and I bought my boy some socks, right? And so my older boy says, I can't fit these socks. And it's a pack of socks. And so my younger son had only used one pair of the socks in this whole pack. And so I just switched them. Just switched the socks. No big deal. So I thought, right? And so it's a day or so later, and the boys and I are walking through a department store. We have a Target here in Maryland. So we're walking through the Target, and I hear them talking about it, and I don't think anything of it. And then we get in the car, and my younger son says, Mom, did you take my socks? And I said, yes, son, I took them. I said, your brother needed them. He said, you didn't even consider me when you did that. And I said, son, I'm sorry. You know what? This wasn't in the car. This was at home. I said, we were in the kitchen. I said, son, I'm sorry. And I said, I can buy you some more, right? And he walked away. And then he came back like 5 minutes later. You know how it is when you've been thinking about something for a while and you stew over it, and then you come back downstairs like, and another thing. Well, he came back and another thing, right? He said, you make me feel like I can't trust you because you didn't consider, first of all, you didn't consider my feelings, and then you just went in my drawer and just took something, right? And I'm like, wow, right? And I thought about that thing for a minute. I thought about what he said. And the thing that's so special about this, one is that our children, my husband and I, we allow our children respectfully that if they have something that they're dealing with, that they can come and talk to us about it, right? And I don't know about you all, but I know when I was growing up, well, I was the only girl, so I wouldn't have had this kind of thing because I had two brothers, but I didn't have that openness with my family, my parents, that I could just come and just talk to them about anything. Like, you need to hear me on this. Well, maybe as I got older, maybe I did. But for many of us, we didn't. Am I right? Yeah. Did many of us, in terms of even getting an apology from a parent, you get an apology from a parent? Like, no, that didn't happen. But I apologized. And it gave me a moment to see something, because here it is. In one instance, I want to talk to him about being considerate, right? But you know what? That's a different story about the being considerate thing. This one was about me. This one was about being appreciative of the fact that, that was his. I did say, "This is yours, son." And I did go and take something that I said was his. And so what we want to do is that our homes are training ground, right? Your home is the place where your kids learn what it looks like to have a dispute, what it looks like to have healthy conversation, what it looks like to have healthy dispute. Because the fact of the matter is that though I didn't mean any harm by him, and I let him know I didn't mean any harm, that even though I made a mistake, my heart is always pure towards you. My heart is never where I am trying to reach or take something from you, right? That's never my intention, even though that's what I did, right? And so allowing our children, first of all, to know that we're human, that our heart toward them hopefully is pure and loving, right? That we stumble. And because we stumble doesn't mean parents don't always get it right. That is the long and short of what I'm saying. Would you agree? We don't always get it right. And this was one of those instances where I didn't. But what I appreciated is that he was able to come to me. He was able to articulate it. And he said, "This is what you did, and this is how it made me feel." What is so important about that is that he put it in a statement. And there are many adults, especially those watching, those in here, that when people breach us, when people hurt our feelings, some of us don't know how to say, "This is what you did, and this is how it made me feel." We suck it in. We keep it underfoot. We hold it until after a while it grows into this thing. And instead of having a bridge, we build a wall. And so one of the things that I want to do with these parent support sessions is, let's start taking these walls down and start building bridges. Because we need bridges in our families. We need bridges. And I'm glad that I had that moment with my son, and I'm glad that he felt that he could talk to me, and I'm glad that he didn't hold it in. Our children, are big. My boys at this point, they're big old guys, right? The last thing I want is for them to be so angry that they start hitting something or yelling at somebody or, God forbid, fighting somebody. I need them to be able to talk and to be effective. And home is where we learn it. And for many of us, we learned to be quiet. And then as adults, we had to try to figure out our voice. Where is our voice, right? We had to figure out who we are outside of who people said that we are. And so one of the things that I want to do with you today is I want you to take out a piece of paper if you can, right? And I want you to write down 3 statements about you. Positive statements, because a lot of us aren't used to hearing positive things about ourselves. And so if that positive statement is only I'm here and I made it through childhood, then write it. If that positive statement is, I'm thankful, then write it. Maybe that positive statement is, I made it through another day. I woke up this morning. Maybe that positive statement is that I didn't yell today when I got up. Whatever that is, I want you to look at your 3 positive statements that you say about you. And maybe it is that my heart is full of love. Maybe it is all those things, right? So these are your I ams, your I am statement. What do you love about you? Or you love about your family right now? And it might just be that we all crazy together. What do you love about your family? Write that down. And if you could tell yourself as a parent anything kind and loving, what would you want it to be? Even if you could think about when you first had your kid, right? And now, what would you tell yourself? Like, what would you tell yourself then? And how would you encourage yourself now? Right? This is your moment with you. And this isn't for anybody else's eyes but yours. And then lastly, what are 3 goals that you like to do? Not for them, for you. We're on the doorstep of 2025. We've talked about a lot today. And maybe that one thing is, you know what, I'm going to slow down first. Maybe that one thing is, I'm going to give myself the 2 minutes. And it doesn't have to be 2 minutes. I'm just saying 2 minutes where it's quiet. It's just you, no radio. Just maybe the timer when it goes off in 2 minutes. Don't look at your phone. Gift yourself 2 minutes. Breathe. If you pray 2 minutes. Gift yourself that just once a day. Maybe that's what it is. But whatever it is, be intentional. So that's all I have for you today. And this is, I am Angela Alexander. This is Setting Your Intentions, Parent Support. Yay! Part 1. And I am looking forward to coming to you on Tuesdays at 12. And again, I will be talking from the Work Your Words ebook. There's a link on my social media or on my webpage, brownangelbc.com. I'll be taking like little portions of it each week. There's not but so much that I can do in these sessions, if you want to call them that. But I want the sessions to be practical and things that you can walk away with. And you know what? And also, as we delve deeper into these parent issues, we can call them issues, or we also have programs. A program, if you want to learn more about it, like how do I implement all these things? You can email me, brownangelbc@gmail.com. We can set up a call or Zoom or however, and we can see where you are and see how we can help. I am not a counselor, but I do have access to counselors. And so some issues that we're dealing with, or you may be dealing with, are generational, and man, they might go deep. And so in which case you might need a counselor. If that's the case, we have people that we can refer you to also. So let's talk. I am Angela Alexander. This is Brown Angel Books and Coaching. First of many segments of Parent Support. Parents, we're here for you. We see you, and we care. So I'm Angela Alexander. Do make it a great day. Hey, Star, I see that you just got on. You're going to have to check the link. I'm just ending my live. Have a great one.